Hi. I was hoping to maybe pet you to sleep. I don't know. I want to make relaxing sounds for you. You're probably going to hear a lot of birds. I live in the middle of a forest. If you hear kind of a metallic jingling, that's probably my collar. That kind of crinkling sound is probably the latex bedsheet. Latex works surprisingly well as a thermal regulator. It kind of just maintains a nice temperature. My guess on that is that it's a good conductor up until a point. Like, perhaps its ability to move heat diminishes with how cold it gets. I think you need some head pats. More specifically, some ear scritches. I saw a comment underneath, well, that's so far the one and only comment on any video I have on YouTube. And I left a reply to it. I wanted to specify that, yeah, YouTube is very restrictive with the video length. It won't let you go past 15 minutes if you haven't given them your phone number. And, well, I'm sure with a little bit of creativity I could give them a fake phone number and go through all that mess. I'll see about it, but yeah, I've got a lot more stuff up on Darknet, which unfortunately a lot of people are afraid of because the grand stereotype is that, oh no, criminals are on there because it's unregulated. It's a private internet. Well, not really private. It's accessible by the Tor network. Why am I on there? Well, I really like computers and networking, programming. I'm pretty security and privacy oriented, and I mean, I also don't have to pay for website hosting there. Don't have to pay for a domain name because I can just host my own domain off my own server. I also really don't, I guess I don't trust people. I don't trust kind of larger groups or like larger organizations hosting media. Because inevitably what happens is someone goes and, I don't know, posts some content they downloaded from someone who copyrighted it, and then they stick their lawyers on the whole media server and all the stuff goes down at once. I mean, that kind of also applies for taking the server out in any other way. For example, it loses connection or it goes offline for maintenance. Suddenly everything's down. Now, of course, you could be a little bit smarter about it if you're doing maintenance, like, I don't know, run a backup server while the main one's down, but most people, well, most companies don't really want to do that. It costs a lot more money. Money is one of those things that I don't like thinking about. It's not pleasant to think about. My laptop fan is turned on halfway through the recording again. I'm sure it's probably making an annoying noise. If you can't hear that noise, then either it's too quiet, or you're just not sensitive or irritated by that sound, or I've figured out how to dampen it down through editing. But you have some very nice, soft and fluffy ears. I really like letting my imagination run a little bit wild. I'm trying to iterate designs for a more idealistic world. ideally, I mean, anarchy is probably, well, no, definitely is the actual best form of government. The trouble is that, well, you have to have actually good people in order to run that sustainably. Humanity doesn't tend to be very good. Other creatures tend to be pretty good. Non-human animals. But there are some swathes of humanity that are not very kind to anyone. Oh, that's hot. There's a car driving by. That is a very rare thing to hear out in the middle of the forest. Cars are pretty weird. Personally, if I was forced to choose a land or ground vehicle, I'd probably take something treaded, like something with tank tracks, so a snowmobile or a rover. When I say rover, I mean something like they put on the moon. Also pretty ideally in that society, or that ideal world, I guess it wouldn't have to be a society, it could just be a space, an environment. You would have one thing I'd really like is for latex to be completely normalized. That's a second car. Weird. But yeah, latex being normalized would be great. Because it really is a nice material. It's soft, and pretty much changes temperature to, I don't know, I mean, it feels like a nice temperature. And it can be made to look very shiny, which I like. Mix latex with gold or marble, you have a very good way to accent buildings or architecture. It's getting close to the 15-minute mark. So I'm probably going to have to split this in two, or I'll just make a completely separate video.